And a good evening to you. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas to you. I made Juju chuckle before we got on the air. I said a funny. If you had that private pay-per-view thing, you'd know what that was.
I'm telling you.
You need that really bad. Let's see. Glad to have you with us tonight. What a great weekend for professional football. I thought Keever had texted me something, and I texted him back and said, that is why it is the greatest sport ever. My opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I still believe it. Now he was concerned if they all turned into overtime or all were field goals or whatever. But, I missed the first ones. I missed the ones on Saturday night because – and I told you last week I felt like all four underdogs could win. I felt like all four underdogs. But if I had to pick two, I went 0-2 on Saturday and went 1-1 yesterday. I thought yesterday would be the upsets, would be the Bills, and it would be the Rams. And it turned out the big upsets were the 49ers and the Bengals.
Yeah.
Now, have the Bengals ever been to the AFC Championship game?
Not since
But they've been.
the late 80s with Boomer Esiason.
Have they been to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, twice. They played the 49ers, lost to them twice.
Okay.
In 81, I don't know where I was at the time. I was still in college. And again, in the year that Joe Montana hit John Taylor with the touchdown, Sam Weiss's team. So that would have been, what was it, 88, 89, something like that. Yeah, there was the opening kickoff, I think, of the game. The returner was from Furman University, and he returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown for Cincinnati. But they've been twice.
Okay.
They've been twice.
Cincinnati still has the coolest helmets ever.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Love the helmets.
Yes.
I love the helmets. I always have. And then that brings you to the Bills. So from the AFC side, it's going to come down between the between the Chiefs and the Bengals. So the Bengals still have an opportunity to get one.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, both of the NFC teams have Super Bowls, Rams and the 49ers.
Yes, they do.
So I'm always looking for that team that has the opportunity to get that first one.
Not the Los Angeles Rams.
Yes, the St. Louis Rams.
The St. Louis Rams do, but not the L.A. Rams. They do not have a Super Bowl.
I know, same franchise. They get to bring their crap with them, which I think's wrong, but that's just –
Well, that franchise is actually the – where were they before St. Louis? They were in Los Angeles.
They were Los Angeles Rams.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the Merlin Olsen, Deacon Jones days. Yeah. Well, they were the real Rams.
They were the Anaheim Rams before that, right? They were.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and before that, they were in St. Louis. No, Chicago.
I did not know that.
I think so. No, Cleveland.
Now
they moved around quite a bit. They were. I think they went. Originally, they were in Cleveland. They went from Cleveland to Los Angeles in the late 40s.
You made me Google it.
Yes.
Now I'll see where they've been.
As a team in Los Angeles, the Rams have never won a Super Bowl. They've been into, I think it was 1980 with the Steelers, and the Steelers beat them in Super Bowl 13. Is that what it was?
Okay.
13 or 14?
Let's see.
I'm pretty certain about that. I think that's the only Super Bowl, and they lost, of course, to the Patriots a few years ago when Tommy came back and won that.
Originally, they were founded as the Cleveland Rams.
Yep.
Okay, the Cleveland Rams, and from there became the first Los Angeles Rams, and that was from 46 to 94. So that was a long, long time.
Yeah.
And then from there, they went to they were still the Los Angeles Rams, but they played in Anaheim, is what you were saying.
Okay, yes.
Okay, but they were still the Los Angeles Rams. And then they left there and went to St. Louis from 95 to 15. So they were there for, 20 years?
Yeah.
And if you go back, Chuck Knox was a coach when John Robinson got fired, and Robinson only got the gig because he had been successful at Southern Cal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a good friend of John Madden.
Okay.
John Robinson. They coached together for a while, somewhere on the West Coast. And they maybe grew up in the same neighborhood in California, I believe. But they were long friends, longtime friends.
Okay. But they've got a storied history.
Yes, they do.
If you go back and look, they've had 3 NFL championships, 2 before the merger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they won it in 45 and 51, and then in 99, greatest show on turf in 99. And they have been conference champions and divisional champions and playoffs umpteen times.
Yeah.
They've been successful. I'm still struggling with the new logo. I like the old one better. I mean, there's just certain things that I'm old school about. They started in the AFL, then moved to the NFL.
Correct.
As the
All-American Football League. Mm-hmm. It's AAFL, I believe.
Well, they call it the American Football League.
Okay.
But
they had 2 teams in Cleveland, by the way. Believe it or not, the AAFL.
Okay.
The Browns.
Okay.
And the Rams.
Okay. I never knew that's where they came from.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was looking to see.
But when you look at, the way the matchups are now set, if you're a fan of the AFC, man, they got the 4 best quarterbacks in pro football right now. Wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you go,
absolutely.
When you look at, Mahomes and Allen and those guys, and just how in Burrow, and throwing Lamar Jackson.
Okay, I've got. You like little notes. I'm gonna give you this note. The franchise moved to Los Angeles in 1946,
mm-hmm.
following their 1945 NFL championship game victory, making way for Paul Brown's Cleveland Browns of the All-American Football Conference, and becoming the only NFL championship team to play the following season in another city.
Okay.
They're the only team that ever moved after winning the championship to play their next season in a different place.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I thought that's a pretty good note.
Yeah.
That could be a trivia question for you one day.
Do you think, and I think I mentioned it to you yesterday, you think that the NFL is trying to help out Los Angeles? They got the Super Bowl.
Oh, stop it.
I mean, this is my
conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Because they have the Super Bowl, they get to there for the second year in a row. The team gets to host the Super Bowl, and all this behind-the-scenes litigation going on between L.A. and the NFL and the city of St. Louis for moving out of St. Louis and that kind of thing. I wonder if
I told you I picked the Rams from the beginning.
Okay,
I had the Rams from the NFC, and I had the Chargers because I thought Herbert.
Oh,
was
yeah, and that's the other
real
one.
Deal.
Yeah, Herbert.
Yeah.
4 great quarterbacks in the AFC right now.
Yeah.
4 young, got like under 25.
Sis is taking a break from class so she can hear this crazy football weekend. Was Cincinnati win a fluke? No, and I'll tell you why. Because Burroughs may be the best-kept secret from the quarterback standpoint because he doesn't get all the pub because he's in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And so, no, it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a fluke at all.
It was surprising the fact that rarely do you get a quarterback or a team that allows 9 sacks and commit turnovers to go on and win a football game. And is what they did.
Well, and that is one of the biggest comments that talking about the poise of Joe Burrow and how he could be sacked 9 times and not lose his composure and still do what they needed to do to win the game. She said, I'm glad they won, but how did they leave Chase open at the end? Did you look at Kelsey?
Yeah.
I mean, the middle of the field.
Cooper Kupp.
I mean, yeah.
You know, the old thing with Belichick, you never let the best player beat you. And they did 3 times.
Yeah.
3 games. The best player ended up beating them.
So, I was a little surprised that it wasn't handled. But you know this, and I'll have to ask Ford in the morning when he's on because he coaches defense. To me, okay, now this is to me, I wasn't a believer in it when I was a head coach. I never was a coordinator on the defensive side of the ball. I was always an offensive coordinator. I never believed in prevent and some of that kind of stuff because you right now with the quarterbacks that are out there with the Mahomes, with the Josh Allens, these guys with arms, you take a kickoff and let's just say they kick it out of the end zone, you get on 25 or you get on to 30, 35. They're 4 steps away from getting in field goal range. I mean, it's too easy. I guess I akin it to golf. Golf is not fun to watch anymore because they all hit it so long. There's not that finesse inside the game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it is in football. You got 5 receivers that can catch it, and you put them out and go empty backfield, and you've got, your 6'6", 260-pound quarterback that can throw it 100 yards, and he can put it on a dime and pick you apart.
And you can run downfield as a tight end or wide receiver, and you can't get touched. But, I mean, you think maybe from the defensive standpoint, do you tackle the guy? Do you tackle Kelsey? Do you interfere with him somehow? Don't let him run scot-free down to the center of the field.
You don't have to worry about that, sis. She said, can you call in a favor and not let Aaron Rodgers anywhere near the Panthers? He's not. I can tell you. He's such a drama queen, and ain't nobody got time for that. And you're right. Jack says that Burrows is not spectacular like Josh Allen and piles up stats. He's more Brady-like and cerebral.
Yeah.
And that's true.
And that's amazing.
That's why you could take 9 sacks and not lose your composure and still come out and play and win the game.
And it's amazing because he's only basically his second season. And he missed half of his first season. So really he's just finishing up his 17 games.
He's going to be the best national championship quarterback out of Auburn. You know where he was at? Was he at LSU?
No, LSU.
He was at LSU.
Yeah.
I was thinking like he's out of Auburn. Todd said, I hate prevent. You give up too much. The best pass defense is a great pass rush.
Yeah, it prevents you from winning. That's what it does.
That's exactly right. Oh, I never liked it. Jack said, what if they had been in prevent when Kupp beat them deep? They still – I just say you stay in your regular defense.
I think you give L.A. credit because they've out-formationed their opponent. They put Kupp, they spread everybody out, and they ended up having Kupp with single coverage on the best defender. So Kupp was able to get open down the field like that, but it was –
Well, unless you've got assignments on receivers, that's why they move primary receivers like into slots or the third receiver in, because then that usually becomes a linebacker responsibility and not a corner or safety responsibility. And they're trying to move them around unless they've matched up man that they can get their best receiver on somebody that's a little less of a defender. Usually you think of your best wide receivers out wide, but sometimes you move them into the slot because that changes the matchups that they've got depending on the defense that's going on. And sometimes you'll see that's why you'll see that receiver do the motion to see what the defense reacts, to see if they're locked on.
Either in a man or in their zone coverage. Yeah.
But interesting, nonetheless.
With the Bills game, there's so much strategy involved. And you talked about, do you kick it in the end zone? Do you kick it straight up in the air? Do you line drive kick it?
I would have squibbed it.
Or a squib, either one.
I would have hit it about 12, 15 yards high and let it die down around, the 20 or 15-yard line, and I would have took my chances there. That's what I would have done.
That would have went 5 or 6 seconds off the clock.
I don't think that you can give those type quarterbacks any more time than you have to on the clock. It was like Matt Ryan. It was like Tom Brady. You don't give them any time on the clock.
Do you recall a drive like in 13 seconds? That was like the longest, fastest drive ever, right?
What was it? Was it 25 points in the last 2 minutes or something?
Yeah, 25 points.
Some kind of crazy
3
number.
touchdowns and a field goal and a 2-point conversion.
Yeah. Well, we got to take a break. We're going to be joined by a member of the – give me exactly what she did.
Oh, her name is Dr. Amy Wood. She is a faculty athletic representative at Lenoir-Rhyne, and she helped vote on the NCAA's new constitution that went into effect or was voted on last week. She was there at the ceremony, and we're going to talk to her and say what kind of effect does it have on, obviously, the FBS schools, but some of the other schools.
And we'll have her on next after the break, and then after that we will get into, do we need to change overtime? Now, you've got the hardliners like Ford that said, nope, you should have done it quicker. You should have got it done inside. I did hear some thoughts today that I'll share with you, though, that I thought were quite had a lot of merit to them, and I'll see what Jack's thoughts are on when we come back.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And thanks for being here with us on a Monday night, Lanny, for Juju Phillips. We have a live audience now. Andrew Williams in the house. He said the bull was out eating somewhere. We'll go to our phone lines and bring our guest on for the evening, Dr. Amy Wood. And give me the official title, Juju.
Well, she's a faculty athletic representative at Lenoir-Rhyne, but she was a rep, Lanny, for the at the NCAA convention that they voted on the new Constitution.
Okay. Dr. Wood, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You know, this has been something that's, I don't know, I guess a lot of people have been waiting for. And one of the most amazing parts about it was they talked about how much the Constitution and the rule book and stuff kind of shrunk. Kind of give us the background on how this came to be.
Sure, absolutely. You know, it's really it's an interesting time to be the faculty athletic rep and be part of the convention. I've had the opportunity to represent Lenoir-Rhyne at the convention and as FAR for 14 or 15 years, and I've certainly seen a lot of change at the national level and with the NCAA. But yeah, absolutely, the Constitution really has simplified. It is now about a quarter of the length of the earlier constitutions. So really centered around some of the key principles and priorities of the association.
Where do you feel like that came from? Did it just come from that it just had not been looked at or really adjusted to accommodate all the things? And, you know, like anything else, the time frame for which things change now, whether it's technology, whether it's sports, whatever it is, that cycle has gotten so much shorter, but the NCAA had really not looked at the way they viewed things from a rule standpoint from a number of years, unless I'm mistaken.
Absolutely. You know, we obviously vote every year on new legislation and how the Constitution is interpreted and implemented. And so there have been a lot of rule changes over the years, of course. But as a Constitution, you're right. It hasn't been looked at in many years. And no doubt, I mean, the timing of the new Constitution certainly is in response to a lot of the criticisms of the NCAA at the national level, in addition to Supreme Court rulings and some of the state-level actions. And so the new Constitution was really in response to a lot of that and some of the financial pressures, being more responsive to the student-athlete well-being, and we can talk about that in a minute. But no doubt the timing is in reaction to what's happening at the national level.
Amy, good evening. I saw you earlier today at the ceremony for the stadium. Didn't have a chance to talk to you. That was a heck of a ceremony earlier today. Hey, it was. I wanted to ask you, and the stuff that we read about the new Constitution, it's going to give more autonomy, is that a good word, to all the different divisions from FBS, FCS, Division II, Division III. What does, from what you've been able to gather, what does it mean for Lenoir-Rhyne and other small schools, this new Constitution?
Sure. Well, certainly, this is, my opinion is that we're really going to see the biggest change probably at the Division I level, because it does give each of the three divisions more autonomy. And at the Division I level, we're going to see, of course, some maneuvering for the revenue share and how that's going to play out in terms of the Power Fives and the Group Fives and all that. At the Division II level, what really I think we're anticipating is that with our own ability to govern ourselves, we can simplify some of the bureaucratic headache and hassles and how complicated a lot of the reporting is, and things that may be unnecessary at the Division II level, but because we had previously all been sort of beholden to what the requirements were at Division I, we all had to do sometimes excessive and what may have been unnecessary reporting. So I think we'll be able perhaps to streamline and simplify some of our compliance and rule structures and things that govern our athletics administration in general.
We're talking with Dr. Amy Wood. I guess my question, and just to make sure that I understand, when they gave out this autonomy, is it maybe because the NCAA is having trouble getting its arms around everybody? It just seems to me like even the conferences don't have a specific centralized authority over the conference. It's almost like all the presidents control everything, and they don't always have to agree on what they do. I've seen that as a problem, making sure that there was a level playing field for everybody, or am I looking at it wrong?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to remember that the NCAA isn't some strange man behind the curtain. I mean, I think that we think that because it's so giant, but really it is governed by the president and by our own governance representatives from the various divisions, the various conferences. There's a very representative structure in which there's lots of committees and so forth. And it's kind of interesting to me, this new constitution actually reduces the Board of Governors, that's the highest level that administers, at the NCAA, from 21 members actually to 9. So this idea, we have 4 representatives from D1, we'll have 1 from D2 and 1 from D3. It also gives student athletes a vote for the first time ever. There'll be a voting member. So, I mean, it is there is still the principle of institutional control over athletics. There's still no pay to play. There's a much greater emphasis than I've seen. And when I think back on when I first started, we talked a whole lot in the NCAA about what was good for the institution and how to maintain the integrity of the institution and the financial well-being of the institution. In recent years, that pendulum has swung, and we're really talking about what's in the best interest of the student athlete well-being. There's still responsibility of the institution to control and monitor its programs. There's still no pay to play, but we are, name, image, and likeness is, really gives the student athlete the ability to benefit from, from their platform. So there's a lot to the Constitution and a lot that's happening nationally. I think that's driving a lot. The portal, everybody wants to talk about the portal. But this whole shift to really thinking about the health and well-being of our student athletes.
Hey, Amy, you mentioned it, I think, in our emails back and forth. When does this implementation of the new Constitution and some of these changes, this autonomy that you're talking about, when does that go into place?
Yeah. So the new Constitution in place in August, I think August 1st, I think that's right. But the real work at all levels with this reorganization and restructuring within divisions, that work happens with the what they call on Division II, they call the Implementation Committee. Our conference representative on the Implementation Committee is Marty Gilbert, who is the FAR from Mars Hill. He has also served on Management Council. So we have conference representation at the national level on the Implementation Committee. And my understanding is that work will start right away. Kim Pate, who is the first vice president of the ADA, which is the Athletic Directors Association, she actually, as an officer in that organization, was part of what they call pre-implementation committee. So we've been fortunate in the SAC and at LR to have good representation at the national level through these changes.
Do you continue to see this thing evolving? I mean, a lot of it looks like, I would say, just look from the outside looking in over the 18 to 24 months preceding this, when NIL really started to gain some foothold, that the NCAA really felt like it needed to get out there. From my opinion, I wish the NCAA had got out in front of it, because now we've kind of let the genie out of the bottle and nobody's really got any caps or restrictions or anything along those lines. Do you see the NCAA getting involved from that standpoint to try to get a better handle and put those on an even playing field?
Yeah, it's hard to know exactly what the different divisions will do, and I think that's where we'll have more autonomy within our division to make those kinds of changes. Legislatively, now this is not in the Constitution, but as far as the portal and ability to transfer, we did vote at Division II level for the one-time transfer waiver. So student athletes now can transfer without having to sit the year in residence, and there can be no restrictions on the transfer. So, and that's immediately. So we used to sometimes restrict where a student athlete could transfer to, and now there's no restrictions. So really opened that up for student athletes to make best decisions for them. And, sometimes that's a challenge for programs, and there's going to be a lot of adjustments certainly within our athletic programs and for our coaches and recruiting staff and all to sort that out. But yes, the answer, I think, to your question is yes. I anticipate that there's going to be much more. The Constitution gives us a large framework. Really, is driven by the core principles. So these core principles that they said, this is what we are absolutely committed to. That the academic experience is still primary. We're progress towards degree. We're still primary. We're still not going to pay our athletes directly to play. We're still going to focus on sportsmanship and well-being and fairness, and we're going to have greater. One thing the Constitution certainly did was have greater commitment to diversity, inclusion, gender equity, and so forth. So there were these core principles. But the true work, or I think what's going to happen, is going to be in this implementation and then legislation phase. It's how does this then play out with new legislation? I think over the next few years, we're going to see a whole lot of legislation coming forward in terms of how all these principles are carried out. So
basically, the details.
Yeah, and that's always the devil.
Yeah. So you've got what's happened with the Constitution is it's laid out and kind of redistributed who can take care of this. So what you're telling me is each division, because of this autonomy, they'll kind of develop the framework on, as you said, unlimited transfers. You get one freebie, maybe a limit on NIL and those type things. Those will be things that would come down from each division level. So a Group 5 may be different from a Power 5, and Division 1 might be different from Division 2. Is that correct? Do I understand that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's what's going to be sorted out. I think we as a Division 2 will make the rules that works for Division 2, and we'll respond to that. And I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like. I don't think any of us do. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think we don't know what the Division 1, that realignment and restructuring, what that's going to look like. Because really they're battling for a large share of the revenue from the basketball, So the NCAA, for Division 2, we get, Division 2 gets 4.37% of the revenue, largely from the March Madness. That's the largest revenue source. And Division 2 gets 3.18, or Division 3, gets 3.18%. So, the rest of the money is up for grabs for distribution.
That's a very small slice of the pie.
It's a pretty big pie.
Yeah, I would have thought. I know it's a very big pie. I would have thought that there should be a little more distribution down to Division II and Division III to kind of to help that out. Now, do they have breakdowns of revenue inside Division I because you've got Group 5, Power 5, FCS? Is there a further breakdown inside that?
Well, so the football is spliced out, really. I mean, that revenue through FBS, you know, that's different because that's negotiated through the bowl series folks and so forth. So that's already kind of been separated.
Mm-hmm.
So really, we're talking about March Madness money.
Okay.
Division III, they were the ones that were a little ornery at the convention. They had probably the largest dissenting vote. It was overwhelmingly adopted. But they wanted to have an equivalent slice of the pie with Division II, and this didn't change. The percentages didn't change in the Constitution, and these percentages aren't laid out in the Constitution, more like an addendum or MOU within. So they didn't change. They remained the same as they were.
I think it's a good idea that finally they've gotten things together. They're putting some guardrails out there for schools to follow in conferences and different things.
Absolutely. But, you know, I'm really interested in the NIL, they really were still clear around the no pay to play, but the words amateurism have been removed from the Constitution. LR has contracted with Open Doors as their third-party vendor to help our student athletes to develop their brands. Mm-hmm. And so that Open Doors, they are the ones that will help to negotiate those types of arrangements for our student athletes. So it's not something that's done directly through the athletic department. But that's pretty interesting, I think.
Well, but I think a lot of that, they've went third party so that they can make sure that they maintain that quote-unquote arm's length transaction.
Absolutely.
That they don't have to worry about mixing the two. And I hate that you have to go to that because it's almost like having agents and stuff, but it does take the university out of the situation. It's not in the pipeline directly. We know that you would like to pursue this. We know you're entitled to this, but you're going to have to deal with somebody else. That's not what we do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Just keeps it a lot cleaner, 100%.
Yeah. Dr. Will, we won't keep you any longer. We'd love to have you on again sometime. Thank you. Very informative what you shared with us, and I appreciate you taking the time.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. That's Dr. Amy Wood, and I learned something.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. Yeah.
And the part about removing the word amateurism from the Constitution.
That's huge.
Yes, it is.
That's huge. Yeah. That is definitely huge. Let me take a timeout. We come back, and then we're going to talk some overtime.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4 Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Welcome back. Wow, I learned a lot. We were just talking about that during break. We appreciate Dr. Amy Wood coming on and kind of educating, especially me, just a little bit. I do want to make an announcement next week. If you can't tune in online, we will be on WLON radio station out of Lincoln, 1050 AM, 107.5 FM. At 6 o'clock, we will be simulcasting because WLON is becoming a part of Sports Talk Guys, LLC. That radio station will be under the ownership of Sports Talk Guys, LLC. Paperwork was filed today. You'll see some press releases coming in the next couple of days. FCC paperwork was filed about a 60-day window before it becomes official, but I'm pretty clean. I don't think there's anything out there going to stop it from transferring over. And with the FCC, they don't let you hide behind corporations. They want to know who the shareholders are, and they dig through that. That's the other part of it. That announcement, and then we'll have some more sports programming. WLON is going to be running some sports talk programming at night off of CBS, off of Westwood One Sports, which I think part of that is CBS. But more details coming about that as time goes on. But we will be there next Monday night. Will be our first night. We're officially taking over operations on February 1st, but since that falls on a Tuesday, we're going to start out on a Monday. So we'll pass along more. The guys on Saturday morning, they will now be on WLON Live every Saturday morning from 8 to 10, as well as here on Sports Talk Guys. We'll probably move off of Facebook with them. And we do have the YouTube channel going up, so you can watch from YouTube. We may put it on our website This gives us a little more control over music and some of the things that we can play and do.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So we'll keep you updated on that. Now let's go back to
growing and expanding. The sports empire.
Like my waistline. That's exactly right. Byron says NIL is going to make the best better, and there will be a bigger gap between the haves and have-nots. The money the big SEC football schools will be reflected. That's why somebody has got to step in, put some caps, and put some. Like I said before, Bryce Young should have never made $1.3 million. That's not what this was intended to be.
Well, if you put caps on the players, do you put caps on coaching salaries?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
I've said for a long time, just like the movement of a player, if a coach can quit today and be a head coach at another school tomorrow, then a player needs to be able to do the same thing.
Yes, and they pretty much can do that now.
Now you've kind of gotten it to that. All right, let's talk overtime. Jack says, I'm okay with the overtime with one exception. Both teams should get at least one possession. After that, if tied, the first score wins. And I agree.
That's okay, yeah.
I'm okay with that. Now, Cowherd had an idea today that I thought was pretty good. I told Juju during the first break. He said it should be up to the home team to seal the victory at home, okay, and not force overtime. Sometimes teams will be like, well, we're not going to press this. We'll just play for overtime. His suggestion was if they don't change it to where both teams get an opportunity to ball, then the visiting team, there's no coin flip. The visiting team decides if they want the ball or they want to play defense first. And that puts more pressure on the home team that the visiting team could take the ball first and then they wouldn't get an opportunity to do it. So I just don't like the way it's set up, and I understand you don't want 7 overtime periods like you have in college sometimes, but there needs to be some way to do it besides the way it is now.
And it's been that way for a long time. It happened, 3 years ago when, was it Tom Brady? They beat Kansas City. City.
The biggest change.
Why don't they do a 2 out of 3 with the coin flip?
The biggest change with the overtime came when the only way the other team didn't get the ball was if you scored a touchdown. I don't like that. Everybody should get the ball one time. I don't care if you continue doing it like you're doing it, but everybody gets the ball one time. I don't.
When you look at that game last night, the number of plays that were made in the final 2 minutes, that 2-point conversion to give them a 3-point lead, Allen scrambled to his left, waited, and kept scrambling and threw it to the back of the end zone. A guy he caught it, barely got his feet down. And if that wouldn't have happened, they'd kicked the field goal at the end of the game to tie it, they'd have won the game.
Yeah.
I wonder, had they not made that 2-point conversion, would their strategy have changed?
Well, I'm sure it would.
Would Buffalo would they pooched it?
Bob said a fair catch gives the team the ball on the 25 no matter where it's caught with no time off the clock. But I don't think you'd have somebody – I don't think you can fair catch on a squib.
No, you can't.
It's got to be in the air. That's why I would squib. I would want some time to come off the clock.
That's what everybody has said, to try to do that.
And if I'm not mistaken – didn't they change the rule that if you fair catch at the 5, it still comes out to the 25?
Yeah.
Anywhere inside that 20. I don't like that either. I'm completely good with taking kickoff out, like the spring league did. Take kickoff completely out. You get the ball on the 20-yard line or 25, whatever you want it to be. And they say, well, what do you do about onside kicks? Okay. You get the ball 4th and 15 from your own 20. If you make the first down, you keep the ball. If you don't, they get the ball right there wherever you turn it over.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
those are gimmicks. I'm not so sure that
well,
they could.
But the kicking game has become gimmicks.
It has been. It sure has. Well, then the competition committee or the rules committee.
Andrew.
The competition committee, what they need to do is they've been really slow in making any kind of changes. Mike Tomlin's on the committee.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 coaches on the committee.
But the owners still control.
I guess they make the recommendation.
And they make the final vote. The owners do. Now, Andrew said, I'll just reach over and slap you for this. Let the kickers duel it out with penalty kicks, backing up 5 yards at a time, handle it like soccer does. I hate field goals. Just in case you're wondering, I don't – nothing personal against Suckup or anybody else that kicks. I just think
if he'd have made that field goal earlier, he missed a 46.
Yeah, it's just shortened the game.
In regulation.
It's shortened the ability to score too much for me. Bob says in 2017, the NFL shortened overtime from 16 to 10 minutes. Why? I think so that they, the other
That's
thing.
Regular season.
The other thing, you have to in postseason. You have to play till you get there. But Cowherd said what it does is it gives a distinct disadvantage to a team that has to play a long overtime against their opponent that finished theirs up on time, for the next week's game. You're professionals. You just hit the ice tub. Get over it.
Well, yeah.
Those
teams' defenses yesterday were gassed at the end of the game.
I don't
know if there's a clear-cut answer.
There's not. The only, like I say, the only one I would just like to see both teams get an opportunity with the ball.
Yeah.
And I like the college overtime as much as any. You can, let's see, after 2 scores, you have to go for 2. I believe it right. After 2 overtimes, you have to go for 2.
Mm-hmm. But there's not as much money involved in college as there is in the NFL. But I like the idea of.
I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't say I had a way to fix it.
The only way to fix it is to make change from the bottom up. Let the committee make the recommendation. Let the owners vote on it.
That wasn't part of the question. Couple opinion questions. Is Tommy done?
He put out a bunch of stuff late last week through his agent, and they gave it to all the network insiders that he was thinking about. He wasn't sure. So if you're thinking about it, the old thing is then you're closer to retirement. Probably yes.
Why would he come back?
I don't know.
Here's another.
I don't see is there a clear reason why he would want to come back except for the love of the game and the competition and to win another championship?
Bruce Arians will be reloading, not rebuilding. If Tommy leaves, you're rebuilding. And does he hang around if Tommy leaves?
He said he was. I mean, I don't know if he can. I don't know if he'll change his mind. But he says as long as I can coach, I'm going to coach.
But he quit one time because of health.
I know.
Tom says he's mum on the future. We'll just take it day by day.
He's got a radio show right now on National Sirius XM radio. And so I don't know if he's saying anything that I think comes on at 6 or 7 o'clock.
Packers leaders unified on wanting Rodgers back. Who is Rodgers blaming for this loss?
Well, I watched part of the post game. He's blaming a lot of it was on himself.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure it was him?
Yeah.
I mean, he out of character.
He didn't say anything about the play calling. He said our special teams were terrible, and they were. That's on the head coach, though. Defense played well enough. They didn't make some stops, but they played well enough. The offense just didn't make enough plays.
Top headline. New Orleans Saints owner Gail Benson on Sean Payton's future. I don't know. I don't think any of us know, but he'll let us know soon enough. If Payton says, I'm not coming back to the Saints,
he's in Dallas.
Then there may be some other coaching jobs that are going to be up in the air.
Yeah, Dallas would be the one. And then that would leave McCarthy out. New Orleans would be open. If Arians leaves Tampa Bay, if he retires, if Tommy steps aside, I mean, there still could be some dominoes happening. Two or three.
Yeah.
But I think if Sean Payton becomes available, I think Dallas will do everything it can to scoop him up. If that means even trading for him, they'll do that.
Rodgers like to play for Sean Payton. Sean Payton is under contract through 2024, so you'd have to do a trade. Dallas will give you Dak Prescott for Sean Payton
and 2 or 3 draft picks,
and then go after Aaron Rodgers.
No, how? No, I don't think Aaron Rodgers ever wear a Dallas Cowboy uniform.
Really?
No.
To play for Sean Payton?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd be stunned and shocked. It's either Green Bay, maybe, or retire. So I think so.
Thank God you had me worried there he was going to be a Steeler.
No, I don't think he's going to wind up as a Steelers. No.
Okay.
For 2 years? To give up the farm for 2 years of him? No, Steelers aren't. They're not ever in a win now mode. I mean,
well, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to give up everything. It's not the old thing with the Redskins. The future is now. They're not going to mortgage their future just so they can, add another trophy. I don't think.
Okay. So you think he's a Packer or he's not?
Correct. I think it's that simple. I think if he steps aside or he stays a Packer.
So the top 2 quarterbacks in the league basically could retire.
In the NFC. Top quarterbacks in the league right now are over in the AFC.
Yeah.
All 4 of them.
Yeah. So who do you like? Of course, the Rams and the Chiefs are the
favorites. That's who I probably would go with.
But the Rams haven't beat the 49ers this year.
No, lost to them twice.
They're 0-2.
I don't know if you can beat them 3 times. And this will be in L.A. and I don't know. They maybe all these moves that they made will pay off. And I don't know if San Francisco's got the offense to keep up.
Would you be disappointed? I mean, like with the 4 that are left, I'm not disappointed by any of those going.
No.
I'm completely good. Even the 8 that were left, I was okay with that. Any of those could have went to Super Bowl. I'm okay. I didn't see anybody out there that I just didn't care for.
No. I think of the 4, I would favor seeing Kansas City win again. It's just because they're just fun to watch, man.
Yeah.
We talked about maybe just a little bit before the show started. You wonder, and I wondered, even with the Steelers, how far are they behind? You watch them play, and it's like Kansas City and Buffalo, they're in a different speed. They're in a different ballpark. They're in a different league. They're 1,000% behind what the Steelers are at right now. Mm-hmm. Imagine how much better the Panthers have to play to get to a point where the Rams are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. They can't get there.
I mean, they're right now, it appears, there's such a separation in terms of talent and execution and all of that when compared to teams that barely made the playoffs or didn't make it at all.
Yeah. You got some things on this day?
I did not bring anything.
You did not bring anything.
I was at a ceremony earlier today. I did not have a chance to go by. That's
just
okay.
In case. I just let's see if there was something. Somebody passed away today, and
that went by really quick. And again, happy birthday to my broadcast partner, Jack Huss.
Yep, 75, wasn't it?
75 years young today.
Let's see. There it is, right there in front of me. We lost the British Bulldog on this day. Wrestling.
Okay.
Can't believe you didn't know that. You're starting to catch up some on your wrestling. Let's see.
I did not know the British Bulldog.
Yeah, the dog. Let's see. Anybody else besides the dog? Where's he at? Is it that far back? Well, it said the British Bulldog died today, but I can't find him on here. Because that was years ago. How about a few birthdays for today? See if there's anybody out here that jumps out. Not so far. Wow, I'm not getting hit on anything. Yeah,
slow day.
Oh, Miss Sunshine, Mary Lou Retton.
Oh, her birthday today.
You know, I was really distraught.
Fairmont, West Virginia.
I was really distraught when I watched her make some
commercials.
Yeah, about
Menopause.
menopause. Yeah, and I'm like, holy crap, you're just that little girl that was a gymnast. That's disturbing to me.
I don't think she still lives in Fairmont, West Virginia, but
I
that
doubt
was
that.
was her claim to fame.
And she was just little bitty, itty bitty. I mean, little bitty thing. Let's see. How about some events on this day in sports? We didn't hit anything on birthday except Mary Lou, and that wasn't hello Mary Lou, goodbye heart. The NFL adds its fifth official, a back judge, and allows sudden death playoffs in 1947.
Oh.
Jackie Robinson signed the highest contract in Dodger history in 1950 for $35,000.
So they had playoffs in the NFL in 1947 for the first time. Wow. 75 years ago.
Yep. 1952, the first NFL team in Texas, the Dallas Texans, formerly the New York Yanks, loses 11 of 12 games. Did they become something else?
The Texans, did they go to Kansas City, end up being the Kansas City Chiefs?
Now that I don't know.
There were maybe two teams in Texas.
Warren Spah is elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1973.
Left-hander. I met him once up at Rock Barn at a golf tournament.
I was getting ready to say, you had to be playing golf.
It was a golf tournament, yeah. Celebrity golf tournament, of which I was not playing.
Just a celebrity golf tournament?
That's all it was.
Wasn't like a Pro-Am kind of thing?
No, it was a celebrity golf tournament. It may have been a Pro-Am. I don't know. I was just there to interview him.
My best hit up there was Fuzzy Zeller.
Okay.
Was the Fuzz. Playing up there in the senior school.
My best interview I had up there was Johnny, his name slipped my mind, the singer, Johnny Mathis.
Johnny Mathis?
Yes, he came and played in a golf tournament up there.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he came around like that.
I didn't either.
I see this in the headlines. The British Bulldog passed away, but I still can't find the story on the website, so we'll just let it go. I'll see you in a couple hours. Ford will be back in here tomorrow. Have a good one.